We're headed to the fifth here in the first round matchup of 7 versus 10, Scottsdale and Heartland. What a fourth set it was. Once again, just as we've seen already in the first few sets of this match, Heartland got off to a fast start, but Scottsdale had an answer. As you see the rally right there from Heartland in the, again, early stages of our fourth set prior to that nice swing from the outside for the Artichokes. But unlike the third, whenever we were tied at 18 and it was Scottsdale who went on to win it 25-21, these Heartland Hawks, they certainly showed some resolve in coming back and being able to force us to a deciding frame. After that one from the lefty, Larson ended up in the net. But as you can see here from the Artichokes, a dump off kept alive by the Heartland defense. They showed a lot of good plays defensively, and that was ultimately kind of the switch right there for the Hawks in being able to just get one to go down and ultimately end up ending that fourth set on a 7-love run to take it 25-21. So on to the fifth we go with set scores of 25-23 Heartland in the first, 25-16 Scottsdale in the second, then 25-21 for the Artichokes in the third, then Heartland's 25-21 in the fourth. Looks like they've wrapped up over on court 2, Iowa Central, the 2 seed, winning in 4 against Mott. So we now know who's going to play, or who the winner of this match is going to play in the quarterfinal tonight. That will be the Tritons. Now we got to determine who it's going to be, as it will be Scottsdale to serve first. Dunn into the match to do just that. Bowman with a big swing. Dunn with a good dig, though. Back over the tape, and Kaiser takes advantage. And Heartland starts with the lead. Looks like Iowa Central took that last one 25-14, by the way. Outside, Rapp sets it for Casey. That's a nice swing through the block of Bowman and Kaiser to tie us up at 1. Of course, you volleyball fans know this. The fifth set goes to 15, or the first to win by 2 if it comes to that. Danko digs the serve outside and blocked back up front by Casey. Nice job by the Hawk defense to get back. Minnick misses on the crosser. She's had some good swings here today, but the crosser has been where she's been a bit long on her attacks. Scottsdale leads 2-1. Again, waiting in the wings are both Cowley and Montgomery, the 1-16 matchup. Those of you from Kansas or Maryland that are wanting to catch that one, it will be following the conclusion of our first round match here between Scottsdale and Heartland. Finneran near side for Minnick. Long, just a touch. Mary Fromm is about halfway on the court asking for a touch. But no call comes. And Scottsdale leads by 2. Danko digs. Near side for Minnick. That one's in. No doubt about that one. Didn't have to leave it to question. Danko rotates out as Bowman goes back to serve for Heartland. Also returning is Elise Dawson. Near side, nice swing by Casey, misses on her attack. And just as Coach Fromm a couple points ago wanted a touch, so too did Regina Mannix on that attack. But we're tied at 3. Rath again to Casey. That one's down off Clark. And the Artichokes regain the lead. Brooklyn Casey was ready to serve, and she'll stay ready to serve as her libero called her off, Kylie Ostrovsky, but was one step ahead as Anderson rotates in on the front row as well for Heartland. Dawson, again, mistimed her jump a bit, didn't get a lot on it. Davis blocked it back, and Heartland plays it. Minnick, big swing, but Dunn digs. Clark back row attack. She's been quiet here these last couple of sets. Anderson, dug by Danko. Minnick again, off the block, dug by Casey. Anderson, overhead dig by Clark. Dawson tips it over. There's Rath. Dunn to Anderson. Good rally between the two. Dawson, Minnick falling away, got it over the net. Now Davis. Overhead dig by Finneran. And this one will go off the block of Anderson as Kaiser finally ends the marathon point between the two. Finneran comes out, as does Kaiser after that point, and Hovey, along with Olivia Larson, both return. All tied at 4 here in the 5th. Dug by Anderson, and it's an ace serve for Hovey. She did the same her last time out there behind the service line. And the Hawks in front, 5-4. Much better pass this time from Anderson. She gets the pass back, and not enough on it to get it over the net to the Hawks. And Regina Mannix is going to use a timeout as Heartland takes a 6-4 lead here in the 5th. They won the first, dropped the next two, came back in the 4th, and now here we are in the 5th to determine who is going to move on to play Iowa Central later on tonight over on court number 2, and who will fall into the consolation bracket match tomorrow morning. Order your official 2021 NJCAA Division II Volleyball Championship merchandise online at the NJCAA store. Visit njcaa.org/shop to view exclusive national championship merchandise. You've got a view right into the huddle of the Heartland Hawks making their first national tournament appearance, as we've already outlined. And I'm not sure if Mary Fromm could really ask for a much better performance than what she has seen from her squad here in the first appearance for them at this level. Spotlight doesn't get any brighter, and they have not shied away from it one bit. A Let's Go Hawks cheer breaking out in the arena. The fans that have made the 200-mile trip from Normal, Illinois. Davis tips it around the block, but there was 13 Larson. An overpass sent back by Scottsdale, but able to be played by the Hawk defense. Now Wilkie off to Hovey, and nobody home back near side. Dawson gave it a look, but that was about all. Side out Artichokes. Dunn rotates out. Plager has returned to the front row for Scottsdale, and it's the libero Ostrovsky ready to serve. Just long, too, but Emma Clark had eyes on it the whole way. Watched it sail long from Ostrovsky. Side out right back to Heartland as number 9, Anaya Monla, returns. Minnick takes a seat. Monla serve dug by Casey. Rath to Wilkie. It's dug outside by Hovey. Monla back row roll shot dug by Rath. Outside Anderson. Over the block, backed up by Monla again. Clark. That one's on the line. I said she'd been quiet the last couple of sets. Nothing quiet about that swing. You could hear it all the way up in the rafters at the Alliant Energy Powerhouse. And the Hawks with a 3-point lead, 8-5. Short serve, Casey up to it. The attack from Anderson, dug by Monla. And Danko with a free return to Casey. Anderson down in the corner as Danko was unable to make it a play for the Heartland libero. Side out Scottsdale. Macy Wilkie serves dug by Danko, a whistle, and they call 2 on Hovey. Double hit on the freshman setter. The Artichokes back to within 1. Couldn't imagine this 5th set going any differently than at least 3 out of the last 4 we've had. The second set being kind of the outlier. Dawson with a nice swing off the top tape, though it pinballs around to the Artichokes who return it. Clark, roll shot. There was Wilkie. Rath on the attack. Off of Hovey and out of play, and again, we are knotted up at 8. And Mary Fromm wants to talk about it. 8 all here in the 5th. An outstanding first-round match between the Scottsdale Artichokes, who have made the 1,500-mile trip up from Arizona to join us here in Cedar Rapids, and the Heartland Hawks, a little over 200 miles away from their campus in Normal, Illinois. Fans, Moulton is proud to be the official volleyball of the NJCAA and has generously provided all balls for all NJCAA volleyball national championships. Moulton, for the real game. And I know I said it earlier coming out of that read as well, but boy, that Moulton volleyball has been taking a beating here and has been getting its money's worth, that's for sure, in a 5-set thriller between these two, Heartland and Scottsdale. As both teams head back out there on that black and pink court here at the Alliant Energy Powerhouse in Cedar Rapids. At this point, it's the first 1 to 7. If somebody can get at least a 2-point gap between them. That's been hard to come by. Larson, yes. Big swing with that left arm and found it on the back row. Another reason I thought that this match would end up being so competitive, outside of the fact that both teams are pretty evenly matched, as we can see, is the fact that both of these squads have excelled this year. As another point for the Hawks on a nice dump-off. Heads-up play by Hovey, the setter out there. And Regina Mannix is going to burn her second and final timeout of the set. As the Hawks do get at least a little bit of breathing room, as we talked about, at 2, 10-8. But back to my last point that I had started to dive into there. Both teams coming in were among the tops in the nation of staying in system. And you hear that all the time, and you say, what does that mean? Well, that's your typical bump set spike for some of our more novice volleyball fans out there. For Scottsdale, you can see that based on the digs per set and assists per set stats. 26th in the nation, despite playing just 25 matches, or 26 matches on the year, I beg your pardon, at 11 assists per set and 19 digs per set, which was 19th in the country. Whereas for Heartland, 5th in the nation in 35 matches with 13 kills per set and 12 assists per set. So that's where they excel, the Hawks, is when they stay in system. It's not off script. It's when they're sticking to, as Coach Fromm explained, the X's and O's. That's when they have their most success, and that's what we've seen here today. They hold a 2-point lead in the 5th, 10-8. As Danko serves, short and into the net, too short. From the libero, a side out to the Artichokes. And that puts Camilla Anderson back to serve. And her serve is long. Back-to-back service errors, and the Artichokes can't capitalize on the mistake. Kaiser returns, as does Finneran, with Hovey and Larson to the sideline. And it will be Finneran to serve. Dug by Ostrovsky. Wilkie just got there with the right arm. And a free return to Heartland. Middle for Bowman. Nice overhead dig by Wilkie. Rath. Dug by Finneran. Outside, Kaiser tried to dump it off again, but Casey was having none of it. She blocks one back again, but kept alive by Bowman. And Monla with a free return on a roll shot. Rath, and it caught the block. Up front, it sure did. Clark and Bowman were in the area. Dunn returns in place of Plager. Ostrovsky also getting a breather with 11 Savannah Davis returning. Monla up front, dump off by Finneran. Outside Casey. Karams off the top tape and came down. It was Danko who got a piece of it, but it came up more than just a couple feet off the hardwood. Nothing else any Hawk in blue could do with it. And Coach Fromm's going to burn her second timeout as well. And here we are once again in a tied set at 11 apiece between Heartland and Scottsdale. Again, it's the first to 15 or to win by 2. Whichever may come first. But this one has been as advertised. And I mention it again for any of our Cowley or Montgomery fans out there that are looking for their first round matchup in the 116. That was scheduled for a first serve back at 1 o'clock here Central Time. But obviously we've had quite a match to unfold in front of us here on court number 1 between number 7 Scottsdale and number 10 Heartland. Last time the Artichokes were at the national tournament, they walked out of here with the trophy. State champions in 2019. For Heartland, it's their first trip to a national tournament. And Avery Dunn will serve out of the timeout. Stuck by Monla. Middle for Clark. Overhead dig by Dunn. Rath with a free return. And nobody home on a free return. The Artichokes get a point. Ooh, and that is one that will not sit well with head coach Mary Fromm after they've battled through these 5 sets to let one go like that. But still, volleyball to be played. Here comes Casey. Blocked back, kept alive by Ostrovsky over the net to Monla. Quick set Bowman off the arm of Ostrovsky. Great dig by the libero. And a free return by Dunn. Finneran to Clark, out of play. Tied again at 12. Minnick has been a go-to, number 17 in blue, as she checks back in place of Bowman. And Clark will serve. Dug by Ostrovsky. Rath, Casey got it down. Scottsdale back in front, 13-12. Rath to serve. Danko with the dig. Here comes Minnick. Off of back row Dunn and out of play. Back and forth we go across the net. Side out to the Hawks as Carly Bowman back in to serve. And also Elise Dawson, I beg your pardon, back on the front row. And we've documented how big of a defensive piece she has been. Minnick from the 10-foot line finds it as Dunn couldn't make up the ground. And now match point for Heartland. 14-13, they need 1 to advance. Bowman, dug by Dunn. Middle, off the block, Dawson kept it alive. Back over to Davis. Off the fingertips of Finneran into the back row, we play on. Now it's all about who wins by 2. Ostrovsky rotates out. Anderson's back in. Serving is Casey for Scottsdale. Dug by Minnick. Finneran back to it. Sets it for Clark. Overhead dig by Davis. Davis, I beg your pardon, overhead dig by Finneran. Outside Kaiser. Dug. Dump off by Wilkie, but there's Danko. Finneran to Minke. Down again! And Heartland with their second match point. Out comes Kaiser and Finneran in Hovey and Larson. Match point number 2 for the Hawks. For a date with Iowa Central tonight. Anderson down. And the Artichokes will not go away quietly. Davis out, as is Dunn. Returning is Plager and Ostrovsky to serve. 15 all. Dug by Clark. Near side for Larson. It's dug But Ostrovsky kept it alive, and Casey with a free return. Minnick got it down on the overhead tip to the right front. Match point number 3 is third time the charm for the Hawks. Monla comes in to serve. Out goes Minnick. To Anderson. Wilkie. Back to Anderson. Blocked back from Plager. Punched over the net by Wilkie. They're in system. Clark off the block. Wilkie keeps it alive. Ostrovsky to Anderson. Danko the pass back up front. Hovey to Dawson. Was it tipped back? Yes, it was. The lefty Larson. It's dug by Casey. Anderson again to the well. It's dug by Danko. Overpass. Joust won by Scottsdale. Now Wilkie for Rath. Dug by Monla. Outside Larson. Over the block. Kept alive by Casey. Rath again. Dug by Monla. Clark. Dug by Casey. Anderson. Blocked back, but right to her. Rath one more time. It's long. And the Hawks are moving on. Wait a minute. Scottsdale thinks there was a tip, but the officials are walking off the court. The Heartland Hawks, in their first national championship appearance, are headed to the quarterfinals. The 10 seed over the 7 here in first round play. In 5 sets, what a match it was. 25-23. 16-25, 21-25, 25-21, and 17-15 in the deciding frame. Whew! Goodness, volleyball fans, catch your breath. We'll have a break between matches and get you ready for the 116, the unbeaten Cowley Tigers and the Montgomery Raptors coming your way right here on court number 1 as you are watching the NJCAA Division II Volleyball Championship on the NJCAA Network.